What's up, everybody? Supreme Decisions here, and today I wanted to go over something real quick. It's about a video that I saw with a young lady by the name of Tia Johnson. She's in Virginia Commonwealth. She was convicted of murder or murdering her ex-boyfriend, baby daddy, whatever. And one of the things that I actually found out, because again, it's Roanoke, basically, in Virginia, is one of the places that I've had some issues with and have done a few cases in. I've won them. But the flip side of this was I was looking at one of the comments where her attorney was talking about he wanted a new trial. So again, I'm learning to love the comments because it gives you the insight to what people are actually thinking and what they actually believe. So one of the comments read, well, she still murdered him. Even if she gets a new trial, she still murdered. Well, in fact, here's the greatest issue. One of the things, or one of the reasons why I'm doing the thing called the Brady list or putting up bad cops is because there was a detective that was in her case. He got on the stand and he testified to the fact that there was no 911 call and that she had fabricated the call itself and that there was no prior domestic violence or reports or even markings on this woman that was in police records. He testified to this, and what I found amazing was you can't find that detective's name anywhere. It's been redacted in the court findings. It's been redacted on any news article that you find. And why are they hiding this detective's name? Because the detective lied. He is now a Brady cop because he testified to something that was an absolute lie. And even the prosecution in this case, her attorney actually did a somewhat detailed discovery. Wasn't complete, but it was thorough enough because he believed his client. The prosecution said there was no 911 call. Well, after she was convicted, the 911 call was turned over, not by the prosecution. They said that she had never had an interaction of domestic violence being reported. Well, the day of one of the 911 calls, because she had 3, there was police body cam footage. In that body cam footage, the young man is actually seen accosting this young lady. He was still in the home when the police got there. And there was visible markings on both individuals at the time on the police body cameras that the prosecution said didn't exist because there was no call. And even with that, I thought about why. Why would they do that? Why would they blatantly lie? Why would they withhold evidence? Oh, because it's not about law. It's not about truth. It's about the conviction. It's about the onset and attack of the poor. So, going through this, let's keep it easy. If you're not challenging, you don't set up a way to actually vindicate yourself. If you're not pursuing and pushing forward, they have an opportunity to actually gather and bamboozle, because offering time in certain situations when you don't have the advantage does nothing other than strengthen your opponent's case. So this is the same thing they're doing. This is why they constantly push for more time, actually having you sit, because the average American cannot sit in jail 2 or 3 days because they're living paycheck to paycheck. And if I disrupt that paycheck, you are now put in a hole. And again, the average American can't deal with that. So these are things that they push or use as weapons against you to take pleas, because that plea is a win for them. That's why you hear a prosecutor, oh, he has a 98% conviction rate, because they force you into pleas even if you aren't guilty. But and this means they're oftentimes doing things in which they know themselves has nothing to do with a fair trial. I've even had a prosecutor write down on paper, which was the most amazing thing to me, that the defendant did not have the option of a fair trial or due process. Wrote it down. The most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. And when you're actually dealing with that, this is where you actually weaponize it. But now, with Tia, they withheld exculpatory evidence and committed perjury. Even if, because in Texas, this isn't even a story. In Virginia, she's convicted of murder because of a lie that a case was built on. Now, is there video of her shooting this man after he choked her? Absolutely. Is there video of him being a statement of her saying that, yes, I did shoot him when he was walking away? Absolutely. Now, is that murder? No. Now, here in Texas, that's self-defense. There in Virginia, it's called voluntary manslaughter. Should she get life in prison? No. Should she get anywhere between 3 and 5 years? Absolutely. But that's the difference. A mandatory 20 versus 3 for attempting to save her own life and the life of her children. And the fact that many people overlook this or actually don't even know that's what it is allows me to understand this is why my channel exists. Because I talk about the uncomfortable unknowns. I talk about the things that most people have no clue what really goes on with. And I give you options on how to actually deal with them. Now, is the new trial best? Absolutely. Could she be fully exonerated for this? Absolutely. Is it likely? No. Even if she gets a new trial, she's going more than likely, the high percentage, 60 to 70%, that she will be convicted if it is not presented correctly. Because there are even things in which I talk about where you can actually have the police introduce evidence in the fact that they lied previously. They now have to explain that. Because now this Brady Cop has to get back on the stand if presented properly. And he has to explain why he lied the first time. And now that lie is now exposed. Because if you're a detective and you didn't know these 3 videos existed, you didn't know these 3 calls existed, you didn't know the body cam footage existed, and you said with definity that they don't, you're not a very good detective. Always understand, challenge everything at every aspect, because this is not dealing with law. Use their actual rules against them. This is why a lot of people speak of this as the Matrix. This is, hell, if you're old enough, you can remember the original Space Jam with Michael Jordan. And one of the things he said, oh, I'm not confined to those rules. Well, that's why you have to call me, contact me, and we can get on the phone and have these conversations, because I'm not confined to those rules. I'm what I refer to as the out-of-town shooter, because I have no obligation to anyone except you. And I show you how to defend you, because you are third in their line, even if you hire one of them. Understand, these are the things that go on. And pay attention. And that's the most ideal thing, to pay attention, because they did something in front of the world, and the world accepted it, because they put the blame on her and not on the people who actually lied and hid evidence.